Alright, and here we go. Here is fight number 2 with Meta Ridley. And this time I actually have the health up because I kind of want to know how much health I have, but also how much health it also has. So, hello, and welcome back to the episode of Metroid Remastered. Nice try, dude. You literally just did that, and I just about actually dodged that, but unfortunately I did not. And this time I'm actually going to try to keep the plasma beam on because I believe that does the most damage. I also find it interesting how the different beams actually change the way the gun looks. Just like this one makes it look a lot longer, the ice beam makes it look, I guess, wider, and I think the wave beam makes it look a little bit taller. I just think that's kind of interesting. But also, early question of the day, since, well, we're just near the end here. So far, or I guess not so far, but what is your favorite boss in Metroid Prime? Or other Metroid games too, but mostly this game because obviously we're playing this right now. I really like how his swings are just fading off, but now here's the part where I'm not looking forward to because he is just a big jerk and he gets to show his mouth. It's like, it's the amount of time that we can actually take in order to actually see his chest is kind of ridiculous. But I guess it kind of makes sense considering he's one of the last few bosses you actually need to fight in this game. But at the same time, did they really need to make it super annoying to fight him? I guess so. But at least this time we're actually getting some health. Okay, I don't know how we managed to not get attacked from that pillar, but hey, like, I ain't complaining. If we could get free hits on him, then I'm gonna take those hits. Also, I guess technically we could try to use them, like, the quote-unquote missiles to just try to get him as well. How dare you de-target here, dude? I'm going to, like, continuously use that, I guess. Though that was not a good idea because I knew that was gonna happen. But also, another question for you guys. Do you have any games or anything that you're looking forward to playing maybe this year or maybe like next year or wherever it might be? Because for me, it's probably Pikmin 4 is probably the one that I'm looking most forward to actually playing. I've actually pre-ordered it, and I don't know any other games that I would want to play. Probably more like Katamari or something like that, because I really like playing Katamari. And we are now glitched through Mega Ridley. Hello, yes, I know you can sap. I don't feel like getting sat by you, dude. Oh, dude. And there we go. Done like dinner, also a lot quicker than it was last time. It actually took about 6 minutes, and I thought it was going to be a lot longer, but I'm glad it wasn't. Now we get to see this interesting cutscene, how the fact that it took that long for the, I guess the emergency defense, or whatever you want to call it, to actually activate. Like, why wasn't it doing that before when she was attacking? And oh cool, I like how the ghosts are like, yeah, you chill, you know what up, we're gonna let you through this gigantic thing now, because I know what's going on, and should probably say, but you know what, we're just gonna dive into it, because this is probably my most favorite spot, but also the most terrifying spot in this game, the impact crater, which is actually a save right as you get in. I totally forgot about that. This is also the last area of this game, which is really exciting. But one thing I do want to do before actually refighting the boss, or not refighting, I guess technically refighting, because I did beat this game once. But before I fight the game, rather, is that I want to try to get all the missiles and stuff like that. Limited data unavailable. Materia is highly radioactive. So can we jump in it, or is it lava? Okay, we can't jump in it, unfortunately, but what if we tried to jump in these pockets? That doesn't work either. So I'm guessing then this is a higher form of, Phazon. That, or it's like lava and Phazon together. Hello, some Metroids. This is where I remember having these little guys through, but like, no, they were actually earlier in-game than expected. But just look how pretty this area is. Also, now that we actually beat the boss, I'm actually going to turn off the hood. I like how as I see that, and friggin' Metroid just decided to just come and be like, yeah, I'm here now, how's it going? I also wonder if there's actually a way to be able to hit these guys Wow, okay, you just went right across the screen. Why is Samus not wanting to, like, actually, like, attack these things? It's like, bruh, you know how to use the beam, or not the beam, the, you know how to actually, like, well, yeah, no, okay, I'm glad I dodged these things. Trying to commentate and trying to attack these Metroids are apparently harder than expected. But hey, that's okay. Now, this just looks like teeth. Are we inside of a gigantic creature of some kind? That's something I never really noticed or thought of when I first came here as a kid. Hello! And one thing that I'm going to say, it might not necessarily be the best idea to do it, but I would just suggest to just ignore them, because they will just infinitely spawn, and I think we can actually go higher, but since we made it to this door over here, we may as well just go in here and explore. Because I don't remember how big or how small this area is. And ayo, more missiles! I'm surprised there wasn't a Metroid directly outside the door, aside from right here I guess, but I don't know if this one's actually locked onto Samus yet or not. Doesn't really look like it. Okay, now I see it. It is. Now we got the other ones, which I'm actually just going to use a super bomb. So I believe that actually, yeah, like one-shots those things, which is good to keep in mind for once we get to the boss. The reason why I say that is because, well, you will find out when we actually get down there. For now, we're just going to try to like, actually get these things done. But they were just being little jerks there, so it just took them both out. I don't know if you want to go up or down. That's like the confusing part about this, because I don't really remember what this area looks like or what's really inside of it aside from Metroids, of course. And if you can't guess from name, okay, we are in the Spider Ball area. I didn't even realize that before it was too late. At least we get out ourselves. But I'm sure most of you probably know what this last boss is. But if you don't, leave your guess in the comments down below. And now we just gotta shoot up. I was just going to jump up. Okay, here's the boss. Which means we're actually going to turn back. The reason why I want to do this is because I actually want to 100% get all the items and stuff like that. Because it does actually impact the ending of the game. If you know why, you know why. If you don't know why, then you'll figure out probably next episode, but it'll probably take a while. Because I might... Okay, I was wondering if the Metroids are actually teleporting. I think they are, which is kind of interesting, but it's also terrifying. Excuse me. I did not welcome you here. I'm just trying to leave, and you are into it. What if you could... I wonder if you could just shut them off. Where are these creatures? Oh, those things are adorable. Lumigek. Phase-in-charge reptiles. Native to the Talon 4. Cool, I'm glad they're actually native creatures. Not just the ones that got down here via pirates. The Lumigeks travel in swarms to increase their odds of survival. They absorb and radiative phase-on energy, making these swarms a threat. But it doesn't really look like they want to attack Samus, which I guess is pretty good. If I had to guess so. I don't know, but we're just gonna leave them. Now if you're wondering how we could get back up on the surface, it's literally just by going through the portal. But yeah, anyways. So I guess for a couple of minutes we may as well just go and try to find the missiles and stuff that we didn't get before. Mostly because I thought that Ridley's fight was going to take longer. But also didn't realize that we could actually scan some of these trees and things before we, like, once we actually got down to this planet. So, there's that. I'm just gonna grapple over here. I know technically we already went on the top, but I want to know, now that we have the X-rays, see if there's actually anything maybe over here that we didn't get before. I also like how these little things weren't even the ones that were really doing that much damage to Samus. It was the bigger ones. Now this was just being like a little pest, so like, sorry dude, but I gotta get you out of here. Ah, so there is something up there, but the question is, how do we get up to that platform though? Right over here. So it's like, I don't think we actually used the X-ray visor to get up here before. We might have, but that's the whole point of trying to explore and just to see if we can find anything. Now what's over here? I'm guessing this was a Chozo artifact. And I do remember that there's a missile expansion right down in this area between Magma Ruins and down here. I don't know why we didn't already go to that one before, because like, I guess it makes sense because it doesn't really seem like there would be anything a really hot looking stand. But I'm also surprised that there wasn't really anything like a missile or like an energy tank. Probably like the phase-on tunnel that's between, I think, was it Chosen Ruins? Talon Overworld and the phase-on area. Now I don't know what part of Magmar we want to go through first, but I'm going to assume that there's probably other things down here that we can get. Yes, I know I could have just went back up to the top, but you know what? I fell in there. I made my mistake. Just like running to that thing. We could just freeze them, but it's fine. We already did enough chaos in this area. Now I hate destroying those dudes, but I want to know if we can actually just grapple up on here. Because I know we already like actually did that thing. Okay, we did. It looks like we could just like jump on top of it and maybe like cheese it if we didn't already get that. I think missile expansion is what was over there. Now I have no idea if we have any more missiles or anything that we can get in this area, but I'm assuming there probably is, considering there's lots of things that, well, we miss in this area in particular. But now we're actually gonna head back in Fendrana's Drifts because I think we did miss some enemy scans over here. So I was looking through enemy scan lists, but also there might be a few more things that we could also collect in this area as well. Considering now that we have the phase-on blaster, we already got 2 missiles in this room, but there could be more things that are like maybe iced together, or maybe something that we need to cool down with our the ice beam. But here's another, well, not another fact, but here's a fact that I thought it was kind of interesting. I don't know if it really be considered to be a fact. That apparently it was supposed to be a spin-off, but since they had limited space and other kind of issues that they couldn't really work around, they just decided to just make development differently, and that ended up making it both 3D, but also ended up making it on GameCube. I'm also over here because I see, press the right button, right there. There's a little part that's sticking out. I just want to try to get to it, but I also just went the long way around. But that's okay, we made it at the end. I like how we just latch up here, and wham! Missile expansion acquired, baby. We're also now probably a little bit past 75%, is when we started this episode, we were at 75%. Love how Samus was basically just moonwalking. It's like, you do that, Samus. But yeah, I just thought that was kind of interesting how literally because of the limitations and the fact that like Metroid Prime came into existence, now we have the first-person shooter, but also 3D. Now I'm guessing they probably would have tried to make it 3D, but had to work around it to make it like a side-scroller like it was before. How many of you little dashing cute little things are there? So I believe that these ones are actually smaller than the ones that, like the first one that we actually fought. I could be wrong about that, but this is how it feels like. See, almost got clipped on top of that wire. But of course it just had to come and knock us off. Like, what a jerk. But it looks like the phase-on beam also just doesn't get absorbed, which I think is interesting. Or the plasma, did I just say phase-on plasma? I don't know. It doesn't matter. Either way, it's interesting. I thought it would try to absorb that, but I guess fire hadn't really get absorbed or something. And yet, ice can. Now I'm just gonna take care of you guys because you guys are just like big jerks. And I know we got everything in this area, but I'm very curious to know if there's anything that we missed maybe in the mines that would be connecting here, or maybe in the lab. I'm not really sure. I also don't know how far we're actually going to go because I'm pretty sure most things that I'm actually going to get are all going to be off camera. Unless you guys would like to actually see me do that. Either way, it's going to be taking a while, which is why I kind of want to do this and just go as far as we can actually go. And I forgot that there was droids right here, but it's a good thing that the plasma beam just like completely obliterates them. I'm surprised that one just didn't see the other drone get completely destroyed, and it's just looking at it like, yeah, that's just my buddy getting destroyed. Am I gonna do anything about it? Nah. Now here's another question for you guys. In this game, or in other Metroids, or even in any game really, what enemies do you like? Maybe not the most, but Just curious to know which ones you actually enjoy. And I know we got that missile up there, but I'm gonna wake this thing up so it doesn't try to yeet us again. I'm gonna grapple back up in there just to double check. So I know we did have a couple of game overs, and I don't know if one of them was before or after we actually got this. We did get it, but I also wonder why we can't just melt some of this ice over here. And yet, having a glacier go on top of it, more than just like a mega fire essentially, just ends up not doing anything to ice. It's kind of interesting how it picks and chooses how we can get certain things. We already got this missile, but it's still really fun how we could just like break this. It's just like it's glass. But also the fact it just makes it safer to just transport ourselves over that way instead of going through like I want to say the fire thing. I guess the like plasma dudes. I don't know what they would actually be called. It's also interesting how this thing actually shows up on scan, but like other things just don't. Now we're just gonna dive right into water down here. I don't think there's anything that we missed down here, but it's always just good to double check. I was hoping that we could just open this door with like anything. And this was the room that we got one of the missile smashes from down too. It's like that glacier down there. That's what I mean. Like we could have actually easily made a hole down here, but no. Instead, we just had needs to get a giant glacier down. Now these little things right here are probably one of my favorite enemies, because I think they're kind of interesting. They're like pretty much electrical squids of some kind. Which it is annoying when they try to like cipher our energy. Excuse me, I see you up there, buddy. Now you're gonna get destroyed because you're just trying to shoot me. It's like at least the things down below are just trying to like consume like prey, but you guys are just big jerks. So I know it's really early, we didn't really find anything yet, but I think I might just leave it here because I want to actually list down like areas that we might have missed that have super missiles in them. Well, it's not super missiles, that have missile upgrades and also energy tanks. I think the only things that we are really missing at this point are actually just the missiles. So we have most of our health, which is crazy how we found more health than anything else in this game so far. Yeah, we definitely went in here. I don't actually remember what was in there. Definitely wasn't. Was it an art? I don't think it was an artifact. Actually, no, that was one of the artifacts. It's really cool. I love these little creatures. I know these things also aren't enemies, but these things are also one of my favorite creatures. So I guess that's another question just before we leave it off. What is your favorite Metroid creature? It could either be Metroids if you consider them to be creatures, or enemies, or both. Or it could just be even simple things like the puff plants. But either way, sorry for it being a really quick episode, I'm just trying to think of where we could backtrack to get the other percent of things that we actually need to find. But until then, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I still can't believe how quickly it took to beat Ridley, considering it felt like it took a lot longer last episode. But hey, I ain't quitting. But yeah, if you made it this far, thank you for actually dealing with me doing a bunch of cuts and just not really getting in much other than a few expansions and stuff like that. But I appreciate you. Give me a yeehaw down below. And yeah, do what you do, and I will see you in the next video, which will either be the end, depending on if I get every missile and everything between them, or we'll just do a 100% item missile whatever upgrades this before. Either way, we'll figure it out. But yeah, anyways, we'll see you guys later.